Hello, everyone. Normally, when I address you directly, I say something like "Dear readers," but if you're here, you're a listener. So I guess I'll just start off by saying thank you. This is the first time I'm doing this. This is new for me. For the most part, I've done some podcasting before, but anyway, let's get right into it. This post is called "Das Fruit." It's hard caring about things these days because, well, when you look around, to say that we're surrounded by disappointment would be in contention for understatement of the year. So let's narrow focus to TV shows. It's hard caring about TV shows. It probably comes as no surprise that I don't really rate 22 episode network dramas pretty much across the board. I can't remember the last time a network drama really grabbed me. Maybe not since Lost had me rushing home from class or the office to catch the latest episode in the era of appointment television. Now, when I see a drama with a more than a 10 episode season, I'm immensely skeptical of pacing and filler. Of course, these short season prestige streamer dramas come with their own problems, namely often years in between seasons. To the point now that when a show has seasons in consecutive years, it feels like a welcomed surprise. I feel for Wednesday fans who watched the show when it first aired and had to wait 3 years for half a season worth of story. So when I fell in love with the first season of One Piece, it came with a measure of hesitation. Yes, I could watch the anime, which I think has something around 17 trillion episodes, or read the manga, but that's not the same. The live action was my first experience of One Piece, and it's the one I want to continue with until I can take it no further. And once that's run its course, I will hop on the anime and ride that particular wave. But I fell in love back in 2023. What started as unbridled excitement at seeing something that was unlike anything I'd ever seen before turned tentative, and then turned into trepidation as years passed. And when season 2 finally dropped on Netflix, I both really wanted to watch it and was really anticipating disappointment. Let's get into season 2 of One Piece. Very briefly, One Piece is a live action Netflix adaptation of one of, if not the longest running and most popular anime and manga series of the same name, that tells the story of Monkey D. Luffy and his Straw Hat Pirates as they navigate the seas in search of the One Piece, the legendary stash of the legendary pirate Gold Roger, who legendarily was publicly executed as he announced the existence of this cache. Luffy wants to find the One Piece and become king of the pirates. I'm still fuzzy on what it means to be the sovereign of a notoriously ungovernable group of people, but he's so enthusiastic that I just roll with it. There are more episodes of One Piece the anime than there are of all the NCISs combined, which is a significant number. Ask any empty nester dad who hasn't locked on to Yellowstone. Which does make waiting for 3 years to get 8 episodes feel particularly slap in the facey, but all is forgiven if those episodes are worth the wait. And dear readers, it was absolutely worth the wait. Listeners, I did it again. After the epic battle at the end of the first season, Straw Hats are off to the Grand Line, a strange and marvelous place even by One Piece standards, which is a world that includes a man who ate a fruit once and it turned him into a stretchy rubber boy, and a clown that can be infinitely dismembered because he too ate a similar devil fruit. Things get even weirder in the Grand Line, and I'm here for it. I compared the vibe of the first season to Ted Lasso when it came out, and while that wholesomeness is still there with Luffy and his crew, something even more wonderful has evolved in the show. It's Ted Lasso meets Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which was a short-lived but brilliant series based on the Douglas Adams novels. Everything this season is stranger, more vibrant, and bigger. And I don't just mean the giants, and I don't mean in a lazy way either. Because a lot of sequels or continuations can make the mistake of doing the same thing as their predecessors, but just more of it. That's not the case here. The stakes are bigger, the stories are bigger, and they're also much more personal, deeper, and richer than the first season. The whole crew returns, of course. Iñaki Godoy as Luffy, Emily Rudd as Nami, Makinyu as Roronoa, Taz Skylar as Sanji, and Jacob Romero as Usopp. We even get to see Jeff Ward as Buggy the Clown again, which, unless you hate clowns, is always a fun time. But now we also get to know Julia Rewald I hope I'm pronouncing that right, from the Fear Street trilogy as Tashigi, a sword-obsessed marine who wants to find all the 21 great-grade blades and take them out of unworthy hands. Unfortunately for Zoro, she recognizes the Wado Ichimonji right away, and since Zoro is a bounty hunter turned pirate, she doesn't see him fit to carry it, as it's one of those blades. We also meet Callan Kerr as Captain Smoker, her marine commander who smokes 2 cigars at a time, carries a sword capable of killing someone who's eaten a devil fruit, like Luffy, and who owns an amphibious motorcycle. And our Marines, Garp, Kobe, and Helmeppo and Helmeppo's haircut are back too. But as much as Marines and other pirates played the main antagonists in the previous season, the Straw Hats will face all new challenges once they depart the East Blue and hit the Grand Line. Those challenges often come in the form of Baroque works, which we were introduced to early on in Season 1 when Mr. Seven tried to recruit Zoro for their organization. Seven ended up divided in 2, and I'm not so sure they appreciated that. While the mysterious Mr. Zero is their leader, the one you see most likely is Miss All Sunday, played by Lyra Abova from Honey Don't and Anna, a particularly dangerous killer with powers of her own. We also get to know 2 Baroque Works agents pretty well, Jazara Jaslyn as Miss Valentine and Cameras Johnson as Mr. Five, her partner. Then there's the enigmatic Miss Wednesday, played by Charithra Chandran from Bridgerton and Dune Prophecy. I'm not entirely sure what to call Baroque Works. They're more than just a band of assassins, and they're certainly not pirates, but they are extremely dangerous nonetheless. They're more of a mercenary intelligence agency which uses its agents to kidnap, attack, destabilize, and yes, murder for whomever is paying them to do it. They are deadly, merciless, mysterious, and highly effective. I can't say I'd want to go against them, but then again, I've been in a silent feud with the elevators in my building, so I might not be cut out for the pirate life, to be honest. But it's more than just villains they meet along the way. When you travel down unknown paths, you encounter things you've never experienced before, and in One Piece, you never really know what to expect next. One minute you'd be shopping on a lovely day, then you could be ambushed by pirates, and then you might end the day by doing your best reenactment of the Mariner's Revenge song by the Decemberists. And that's just the start of it. Sure, if you've seen the anime, none of this will be new to you, but it was new to me, and I loved every moment of it. It was so lovely to be surprised at every turn, not just by where the story takes you, but by the world itself. The strange delights never cease in the Grand Line, and if you are worried about One Piece becoming too mainstream when translated to live action, well, while I can't promise you it's as wild as the anime, it's plenty out there. Using giant snails as telephones was just the beginning. Things will only get weirder from here, and more delightful. And that's one of this show's biggest strengths. It's wonderful. And I mean that in the most literal sense. This is a show that wears its whole heart on its sleeve and has no shame about it. They are not jaded. They do not look at the fantastic and unbelievable and shrug. Rather, it's as wondrous to them as it is to the viewer. It's a world full of incredible phenomena that these characters get to experience and take us with them. I'm impressed from scene to scene in how this show is able to convey wonder without it feeling like it's being sold to us. Yes, Luffy is the same childlike, boisterous, naive pirate who doesn't seem quite sure what pirates do, as he always was. But at every turn, the show rewards us with joyful experiences that we and they get to have together. There's a lot to admire about each of the Straw Hats. Luffy's dedication to his crew and goal, as well as the openness with which he approaches the world, Zoro's quest to become the greatest swordsman despite the setbacks he faced in Season 1, Usopp's journey to find courage to turn his fabricated stories into real ones, Nami's freedom to pursue her dreams, and, well, you don't watch as much Top Chef as I have without recognizing how much Sanji pours himself into each and every dish, cooking being his one thing. And we get to find out why, which, well, let's just say Sanji went from probably my least favorite Straw Hat to vying for the top spot after this season. Sanji wasn't even the only one who pierced me right through the heart like one of Zoro's 3 swords. Don't get me wrong, I liked Sanji in the first season, his lecherous advances aside, But I never thought I'd connect with him in a way that would make me cry, but there it happened. He wasn't the only one either. Whether you're familiar or not, I will just say this: Laboon and Tony Chopper. If those two didn't remind me that there's still something beating in the seemingly hollow cavern between my ribs, nothing will. The depth of this series is astounding, really. The ability for it to evoke such strong emotion in a world that is so objectively silly, I couldn't explain it to someone with a straight face. This is a world where a man blows explosive snot rockets, a woman is perpetually slippery, and a woodland creature can become a scientist. Where the ocean flows up a mountain, your compass is useless, and your teeth is as good a place as any to hold a sword. But it's all so beautiful. I don't know about the One Piece. I don't know if it exists. I don't know if Luffy will ever find it. But I do know that One Piece is about the journey and the bonds formed as you wander. And goodness, that is beautiful. The Straw Hats will make new friends and new enemies. They will face their greatest fears. They will have to stand together and find courage in places where none ever seems to be found. And they do. Because no matter how much they may snipe at each other and get on each other's nerves at times, they are more than just a crew. I won't say it because I'm not Dominic Toretto, but you know what I mean. And perhaps at the end of the day, that's what's most wondrous and inspirational about this show. I've said it before that in times like these, times when things are complicated, scary, and merely existing is dangerous, I'd love to see media about good people doing good things. Don't let the pirate moniker fool you. The Straw Hats are pirates the way the A-Team are criminals. They may exist out of societal rules, but they go around helping people. They can't walk away from people in need. And I think that's a pretty rad thing to be putting out there right now. I never thought I'd like or ultimately need One Piece the way I've come to, but Luffy and his Straw Hats bring a level of kindness to their world that I'd love to see in ours. I just hope we don't have to wait for 3 more years for the next installment, because the way things are going, we're going to need a whole hell of a lot more stuff like this as the clock continues to tick. Streaming exclusively on Netflix, One Piece is 8 episodes averaging about an hour each, and I doubt you will be surprised to hear that I recommend it wholeheartedly for anyone. If you haven't seen any of it, of course, start with the first season. My post about it is linked above and here. For fans of the anime, I hope this show does the show that you love justice, because I love it. And when the live action is done, I'll take on the 1,000-episode beast. But I couldn't spoil any of this for myself. What I've been able to see here is too special. I've been light on details, and if you read this and then watch the show as I hope you do, you might notice that I've even been deceptive in how I frame certain things. Because I want you to experience One Piece as I have, the way Straw Hats experience the Grand Line. With eyes open and full of wonder, not knowing what's coming next. Thank you again for your time. I guess I should come up with a sign-off, so let's try... I don't know. Remember the old saying, dying is easy, comedy is hard. Writing a blog is somewhere in between. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.